Well, hello. My name is Vicky Westra, and I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Shifts. And we are now taping our first episode of our first formal episode of Shifting Perspectives for Autism. And I'm so excited because today we have such a special guest, and it's somebody that I have known for a few years now. Her name is Rachel Barcellona, and I have seen her be on her path and just be what we consider a shifter. And I'm going to go into a little bit of what that means. But welcome, Rachel. And so we're glad to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, when I looked at your list of accomplishments already, for your young, I think you're what, 23, 24?
Yeah, I'm going to turn 24 on the 31st.
Nice. Well, happy birthday. But your list of accomplishments is just amazing. So you are a pageant winner. You're currently Miss Manatee River.
That was a long time ago. Actually, I'm going to
update me. What's your current title now?
Well, I'm Miss Florida, and I'm going to compete for Miss Florida America in April. It will last from the 9th to the 11th, and that will be held in Orlando.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Well, congratulations. I also know that you have a career in modeling. You're doing some writing. You're a singer. You're an actress, and you're also an autism activist. So that's a long list of unique abilities that you have.
I would say some are stronger than the others, but yes, I would definitely consider myself an activist. I'm very proud of that. I love writing. That's what I'm going to school for. And I'm graduating the University of South Florida with a degree in English, and I do communications as well. And I got a lot more speaking engagements because of that. So I'm so happy to use what I've learned, I guess, because a lot of people don't, and that makes me really sad,
Yes, it does. And I think that's what your life demonstrates, is really you can pursue what you want to do and what you're passionate about doing, and nothing can limit us, right?
Oh, no, nothing should limit you. I think that you have the ability to do anything that you want, and I think I'm proof of that, and I'm very happy about it.
So just so you know, we our whole Autism Shifts, of course, is about shifting the perspective on autism, right? So many in our community, if you see the chart behind me, this little emotional chart, we say that much of our community is living in the red zone, right? And that's a place of worry and frustration, maybe some anger, maybe some fear about what may not happen for us. And our whole mission is really to shift people into the green zone, where they can live in a place of hope and optimism about the future, what can happen, and a place of empowerment and joy. And when I look at you and all the things that you're accomplishing, you're such a representative of someone living in the green zone, showing that, hey, I have hope for my future, right? You haven't let anything stop you from achieving. So congratulations on that. And I think we have such an opportunity to show more and more people on the autism spectrum that are creating that type of life for themselves.
Definitely. There are so many people out there that are doing incredible things. And I think that it really depends on where you're at, which zone you're in. I think that we would be more in the yellow zone because there's so many opportunities for us. But in developing countries, there really aren't many, but there's so many people with autism there right now. So I think it just depends, and we need to acknowledge our privileges.
Definitely. Yeah, we're definitely blessed in this country. So, well, let me go back a little bit. So, What age did you, I guess, find out that you had autism? I know maybe at one point your parents got the diagnosis, and then maybe at another point you found out that you were on the autism spectrum. Take us back to that point.
Well, I was diagnosed when I was 3 years old, and I would say my whole life I knew I was different because everybody would just walk away from me. They wouldn't want to play with me. So I just knew, but I didn't know all this medical terminology until I got a little older. But I just always had that feeling.
You did. You felt different then?
Definitely, because I knew even as a kid that while everyone else was watching Saturday morning cartoons, mom and dad, or just mostly mom, they were taking me to the hospital every Saturday and Sunday for social groups, medical tests, and I think, what kid does this?
I know. Yep. We have sometimes a lot more to go through, right?
Yeah.
You know, more things that can put us in the red zone sometimes, right? Because that's not necessarily what we might choose to be doing, but we do it, right?
Definitely.
So then I would ask you, so at what age do you feel like you really started to, you know, embrace the fact that you did have autism? Was that later?
Well, when I understood it, I sort of thought I could embrace it or not. I know I was really bullied when I was in middle school, and I didn't think about autism in that respect. I always thought I was just the weird kid because I went to a really, really conservative Christian school, and I was the one who put all the pins on my backpack and wore black clothes. So I thought it was just that. I never thought I was being annoying or autistic,
Right.
but I embraced it then because I thought it doesn't matter. I just want to be myself. And that's when I started I guess now it's a nonprofit. So yay for me.
I
The
know.
Ability Beyond Disabilities. It started in middle school because I saw all the bullying that happened and I wanted to stop it.
Well, gosh, I definitely want to talk to you about your nonprofit and find out a little bit more about that. So it just amazes me, though, that at such a young age you made a choice, right? And I think that's so relevant for our young people out there that maybe are struggling with the fact that they have autism and they don't think that they have that choice, right? Because many of our population feels different or maybe had the same experience of being bullied while in school, which is not a good feeling, right?
Yeah. Well, I feel like I didn't have any other choice but to accept myself because I thought, well, when you're in an environment where you're called sinful all the time and you're not going to be anything because you have this disability, the best way to rebel is to love yourself. And I just thought of that, and I think it made sense for me. So that's why I still do it today, because there are legitimately people out there that think having a disability is sinful because God makes no mistakes, right? And this is not to bash on anybody. There are really good religious people out there, but that was just what I saw and what happened to me. And I knew that this was not everybody out there. There were good people. So I wanted to love and not hate.
Well, that's an amazing choice. I mean, I think what you showed is you chose to be in the green zone, right? You chose, hey, I'm going to use this to kind of elevate me and maybe show them what I've got. And I just think that's such a positive message that our young people need to hear, that they can choose. Some of them feel like they can't make that choice. It's already made for them, but it's all within our own power, right? And I think you definitely proved that.
Well, it's kind of ironic because I'm wearing red.
You're wearing red. It's beautiful. So tell me then, one of the things that we tout is people with autism, and I personally believe that every individual has unique abilities. And I think that's such the case with people with autism. And I just love the fact that you have expanded your unique abilities in so many different areas. What was your, first of all, what was your first, passion? What was your first pursuit in all that list that I read?
Well, I've always loved to write. It's one of my best passions. I still recall waking up at the early hours in the morning to write little stories on construction paper. Then I'd bring them to school and the teachers would let me read them. And those were good memories from school. I mean, people actually liked seeing that from me. And it wasn't just bullying. It was like, oh, she actually can do something. She's not the autistic kid. And I liked that. And I liked reading them to my family too. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for listening to my terrible stories.
Well, I know, I particularly know I've met your mom, and I know she's such an advocate for you and for the autism community as well. So
yeah, I think she is, because a lot of times people ask me questions I can't answer. It's very medically driven stuff. And I think, hey, Mom, can you answer this person? Because she's a nurse. She is more well versed in that stuff than I am. And I was too young to remember a lot of the diagnosis and all of the process that went through it. So I think maybe she should help me with all of the parent-related stuff, because I do get a lot of stuff from parents asking, how do I do this with my child, or what should I do? And I think that's a mom question.
That's exactly it. You can pass the baton. Here, Mom, you take this.
Well, I always think of it as a family affair. I like having her help me.
You guys make a great team. So I think that's wonderful. So writing, and obviously I think you have that for your future, right? You want to continue to expand your writing?
Yes, I definitely want to become an author someday. I've been writing countless books trying to get them published, but it's very hard. I mean, a lot of people have this sort of idea that you can just, I'll throw this book out and I'll get it published, or Amazon will do. But no, if you really want to make an impact, you have to do the work. And I actually wanted to walk into Simon & Schuster when I was in New York, but I don't know. I wanted to stay safe because it was when the virus hit, and Mom told me, "Not go in there."
Well, trust the timing. It's going to be, everything's going to come together beautifully for that, because, it starts with the vision, and you've got that already, right? You've got the vision for being a writer.
I will.
You will. Yes, you will. So then you expanded out. What was your next unique ability that you look to pursue?
Well, I mean, they all started pretty early. I started singing ever since I was 3 years old. I know my mom will always tell people, oh, well, we didn't know she could sing until she was in high school, maybe. Okay. But that's not true, because I remember vividly everything that happened. I had this singing teacher. She left because I told her that the song was in the wrong key. And ever since then, nobody ever heard anything from me. I just sang in my room. I listened to opera tapes for hours, and that helped me with my fear of loud noise. But when I hit my freshman year of high school, that was when my mom heard me sing. So that's where everyone gets it mixed up.
Oh my gosh. And you actually were able to sing at Madison Square Gardens?
I did. I sang there twice, and I've sang the national anthem in a lot of places, so I think that's a great start.
That is an awesome start. You started pretty high up there.
And fun fact, well, I actually got to compete at a wonderful talent show in London called Autism's Got Talent. I sang opera there, but I also was able to tour the Royal Opera House, and I sat in the Queen's box.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the butt was right there.
Awesome. Well, I tell you, putting yourself out there has opened up some really significant doors for you, right?
I think so. I mean, it's not easy for me to put myself out there. That's why I'm struggling to get to 10K. But if you want to follow me, then please do. That would make me a very happy clam mushroom. I love mushrooms right now, so I'm going to stick with that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So one of the things that I think that, again, you as a shifter, is that sometimes, things can be pretty scary for us to take risks, right? To put ourselves out there, to really believe that that can happen for us. What do you think that it takes for you to reach in and really, trust that and still, beyond the fear, keep moving forward towards that, creating that?
Well, I tell myself that it's not going to be as bad as I think it is, because I get scared with some things, but then I just take a deep breath, and that's it. I mean, taking risks for me, I think, would be a little easier. But I know one time I was really scared. I did a ropes course, and I really didn't want to take that next step. But then I just said, I'm safe, I'm harnessed into this thing, and I took that risk. And it was okay.
That is amazing. That's wonderful. I hope that there's, individuals with autism out there that are listening to this, and because we work with individuals with autism who are really wanting to prepare for their next steps and their future. And oftentimes it's just the belief system that happens up here that, I can't do it. And again, Rachel, what would you tell those people who are sitting there, and saying, I don't know if I can do this? How would you encourage them, or what guidance would you give them?
I would say that it's all about what you think and your attitude. Because if you're thinking, I can't do this, then you're not going to do it. But if you go in with a positive attitude, and if it doesn't work out, then at least you tried, and you can move on to something else.
I think that's a great advice. And again, it certainly has worked for you, because, if you think, well, you shoot this high, look at all the things that you've been able to experience because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't count the number of times I failed, and I'm still failing today. I mean, I've sent out more queries for my book than Stephen King.
But, it's that persistence that really pays off, right?
Definitely. I mean, you have to love what you're doing, and that will propel you to keep going. But if it doesn't mean that much to you, then that's when you should move on. Yeah.
Well, that's so true. So let me ask you this. So how do you think that right now autism impacts you, or has impacted you in the past? And what have you done to overcome some of the challenges that maybe, the diagnosis brings, but that you have found a way to, to supersede that?
Well, I mean, that could be really challenging to answer since it was so long ago, but I would say bullying was a challenge, and it was really hard for me at first, but I know having a supportive family helped out a lot, having people to listen to you, and even as an adult, I know that no one really cares what you wear or how you think or whatever. In a university like USF, I mean, you're just a little fish in a big
pond,
big globe. I was gonna say the size of our Earth. That's how. When I went there, I cried because I was so overstimulated. I couldn't even. But I'm okay now. But to overcome all of the feelings, I would say thank you, Mom, for listening to me. And if you don't have anybody to listen to you, there's always an inner voice. You need to have a positive inner voice and get rid of the negative one. And I know it's hard, but you'll do it.
I think that's so wonderful. It's the same message we share with our students, right? It's we can create what we want with, the thoughts we think and the beliefs that we have. And sometimes we may have beliefs, that don't serve us, and we have to examine them and create some new beliefs for ourselves. So, and, unfortunately, my daughter shares some of the experience with you at school with being bullied, and that's no fun for anybody, right? That's a hard thing to go through. But I think also
when you confront your bully in college.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
But it's like, you can't hold on to stuff forever because our lives are like a story that's constantly developing, and I think that's beautiful.
It really is. We can make the shift at any point, right? And,
yeah.
So what's next for you? What now you're going to be graduating? Let's talk a little bit about your not for profit, the Ability Beyond Disabilities. So tell us a little bit about that, why you started it and what you hope to achieve with that.
Well, it's had a complicated history because I recently turned it into a nonprofit, and its base is in New York, but I haven't done anything with it because of COVID. And I can't say much about it because I don't know what's happening. But it started in middle school. And it happened because of bullying, and all I did was write positive messages on the people who bullied me and put them on their lockers. Stuff like, I like your hair, or you are nice today, or something like that. And the teachers saw it and they said, well, you should keep doing stuff like that. Just because you're so positive. I'm trying to remember. Yeah. But I think I've been doing that for nearly a decade now because that's how long it's been.
Wow. I just love that. So even in spite of being bullying, and by the way, bullying is one of those things that can really take us into the red zone, right? We can feel a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, and instead of responding from that place, which oftentimes we do. Like as humans, if someone does something against us, we want to retaliate. We want to kind of, push some red zone back their way. But instead of doing that, you gave them some green zone, right?
Yeah. There were many times I wanted to throw red zone back their way. I mean, I tried. I couldn't do it. It was embarrassing. So I just did what I knew how to do, and it was a success.
It works, right? Because you're sending out love and appreciation, and you know what? That's what's going to shift things anyway, right?
Yeah.
We got to put some different things out there. So what do you think needs to happen, for the autism community? Because, obviously you're advocating, you're out there speaking on behalf of people with autism, and you're saying, hey, look beyond, the label, right? Look beyond the disability. Look at the person. So what do you think needs to happen for our community to come together and recognize, how all the amazing things about autism?
Well, I think that's it. I think people need to stop labeling themselves and just be really nice to each other. And one thing that I've noticed is that people need to stop wishing that they were like normal people. I can't count how many times I've met an autistic person and they said, I wish I was neurotypical. What would my life be like if I wasn't born with autism? And I think that really needs to stop. And I think that happens because of labels. You're not high functioning, low functioning, or this or that. You are you. And that's beautiful.
I think that's so relevant. You know, people, the label itself is so stigmatized today, right? So when people think about autism, they immediately think about the challenges associated with autism. And yes, our perspective is we've looked at it from the other side. It's kind of like if you look at something from one angle, yeah, it doesn't look that good. But then you turn it around and you look over here and it looks amazing, right? And it's all these beautiful talents and abilities. And for me, it's, you know, working with this, I love this population. Like, I love being in this community because I think can be so connected and bring so much more into this world, that our way of thinking about it is so positive and can have so many positive effects. And our goal is, you know, how do we get more people to really start wanting to shift and look at it in a different way? You know, it's almost like, you know, you're looking at the cup half empty or half full. Well, your life has been so representative of finding the positives, right? Looking for the positives.
There needs to be more positivity in this community.
More positivity, right? We need to all start coming together and start really seeing the positives. And that's why, again, it's such an honor to have you on the show, because you're a representative of what you can do with your life when you look for the positives, when you embrace who you are, when you embrace your unique talents and abilities and not let anything limit you. So I think that your life serves as such an example of what is possible for all the individuals out there who may not think that that's possible for them, right?
Yeah, and that really makes me happy.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And you know what? The key is helping more people to see that this is a possibility, whether it's a young adult with autism such as yourself, or a parent and caregiver. And that's why I think your mom, Barbara, is so amazing, because she has told you, hey, you can do whatever you want, right? Mm-hmm. And I think as parents and caregivers, that is such an example of what you can do for your child. The fact that you think that nothing can stop them from living their life on purpose and getting to that place as a parent and a caregiver that you know, you can offer that to your child. We see the results in you, right? Because you were encouraged to go fly, right? Take flight, Rachel, do what you want. And I know she's been encouraging and supportive along your path. And again, for parents and caregivers, this is very meaningful as well, that we can embrace our children and the autism and see all the beauty in it. So,
and that's very important.
It really is. Well, Rachel, is there anything else that you would want to share with others within our community, or even in the general population?
Well, I think we covered a lot. And if you are interested in following my journey, once again, you can find me on Instagram. It's just my name, Rachel Barcellona.
Wonderful. You're on Instagram, and you're also, you have a website, right?
I do. It's www.rachelbarcelona.com.
So any young person or any parent caregiver, follow Rachel's journey, because it will inspire you. It will uplift you. It will show you all the possibilities that can happen for yourself or your child. And again, we need to create more shifters like Rachel here. We need to have more of our autism community really embrace themselves, their autism, and really, believe that they can live their life any way they choose to live it. So thank you so much, Rachel, for for being here. I was so excited that that you could come on and really share your experiences, which, you know, to me, it shows that you've gone through some really tough things. So for those that say, well, you know, my situation's so tough, look at all these really hard things that I've been through. You're a real example that nothing can stop you, right? At some point, you've got to put those aside and keep moving your life forward. So I'm really excited to see all the amazing things that happen for you. You're just at such a starting point, and you've already done so much, but there's so many exciting things ahead for you. So we'll be cheering you from the sidelines.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here. And thank you all for joining us today. And again, this is Vicky Westra and Rachel Barcellona with Shifting Perspectives for Autism.